We're back.
Yes, after a little hiatus, your favorite opinionated besties are finally back behind the microphones. I've so missed you, KMac, and in this sense. Of course, we've always talked, but being able to be on mood swings and get all moody, that's what
I
I miss.
know, I know,
Yes.
I know. I missed it too. I didn't realize how much I missed it until it was gone. So yes,
Right.
so
Yes.
happy to be back with you, my
Yes.
bestie in full
I know.
effect.
I know. And I think we got ourselves a hot topic to return on. So, and speaking of hot, it is, I believe, hitting 111 today in Vegas.
That's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. I actually have to talk to their
Disrespectful.
manager. You know what I mean? So I, in lieu of having a regular sippy drink, I decided to go a little boozy shake today to fit the weather. Yes.
Boozy
So
shake.
a boozy shake. I mean, once I tell you what it is, you're gonna probably want one. People who's listening is definitely gonna want one. And the first place I've actually had this was I was in Jamaica with my husband, and we were at a swim up bar, and they called it the Dirty Monkey. And I said, "What you call me?" And
Right,
they said,
right.
"Right." Thank God that he was black too. So, but he gave me what it is it's a light or dark rum mixed with either a cream, but I had ice cream put in there, vanilla bean ice cream, banana, and chocolate syrup. It is awesome. Now you
Wait,
can also
hold on. There's a whole ass banana in the drink.
like a half a banana. Half a banana. It depends on how much banana you like, I guess.
Do you eat the banana?
It's blended, so yeah,
Oh,
you
it's
gotta drink it.
blended. Okay, I'm thinking like a whole ass half. Yeah,
A big ass dick in your drink.
link to the side, right? Got a hook in it type banana in the drink. I'm
Hey,
like,
I take it that way too. But anyways, but so you can also you can have the drink in with rum, but you can also do it with vodka if you wanted to as well. So, but I think the rum adds a little bit, like kind of like a cold bananas Foster's.
you didn't had a whole ice cream sundae in a fucking drink that you put in your drink.
No, you ain't talking Miss Bloody Mary with a whole chicken thigh and
Hell
a
yeah.
freaking a pickle, some
Fuck yeah.
bacon, a
hmm
small child, a lot of shit's in that.
Don't listen.
And one, I can't olive. Ooh, I can't with the olives and the pimentos.
One olive. I want like 3 olives in there.
I know,
Yes.
so briny. I can't. I just,
Well,
ugh.
I'm not drinking a Bloody Mary today, and I'm definitely not. Even though your drink sounds appetizing to some, I as a minority cannot stomach milk or cream, let alone in with alcohol. I'd
I
fucking kill everybody in
forgot.
there.
I forgot. You got the
hmm
sensitive tummies.
How can you do alcohol and like dairy? That's crazy. The inflammation,
Screaming. That's screaming I to the B to the S. You know what I'm saying?
man, that's screaming butthole on fire.
It's screaming the what is the new explosive diarrhea that's happening? And then I
Right.
told you the STI
Yeah,
that's happening in
cryptochronic,
the UK.
cryptophyte. Mm-hmm.
Chronic kryptonite. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, no, I'm just drinking a good old chilled strawberry margarita with a tahine rim. That is my go-to for summer, all summer long.
That
Now that we're in
that
my
sounds that sounds pretty tasty too. So
yeah,
I can go for that next time. But I mean, hey, I have plenty of hot days behind me. Or, I'm sorry, in front of me
in front of
still.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have plenty of 'em behind me too, but I have plenty more behind. So I'll definitely try and drink one of your drinks too, because that
Mm.
sounds pretty tasty. Maybe less tahine, because you know the heartburn.
Oh my gosh. I'm the crazy thing is that I need to like I need to get I need to find a graceful way to enjoy my drinks with tahine because I'm talking in mid conversation. You will see my tongue lick that whole outer rim because I want the tahine to drink ratio in my mouth. And there's no way to do that and be cute. So I have to find a cute way to try to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Tahine rim.
yeah. That's different. You might. Oh, but you can do them like you do shots. Just put a little bit on your
Oh, my
hand.
hand. Yeah, that's a
Like
good
the
idea.
caviar shots? Yeah, see? So
Yes.
you make it cute versus
Yeah,
doing the
that's a
whole
really great idea.
licking the whole glass. It's weird.
And the
Yeah.
whole glass is getting licked down, and I have to like cover my face while I'm doing it so people aren't looking at me like in some pervy, weird way, because I'm like licking up the yeah. Okay, got it. Understood. Thank you.
Licking up
Thank you
the
for that tip.
what?
Licking up the glass.
Oh, I thought you said something this and that, 'cause that was rude.
Yeah.
I'd have
What
to
did you
censor that. This is what you sound like, 'cause you know you had that lisp. You said, 'cause I'm licking up the clit. I said, "The clit?"
No, I didn't say that. Crazy person.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take that one off. Anyways,
Oh my God.
Well, that goes with my mood today. My mood is actually, I'm just being quite, I'm concerned and I'm inquisitive of what's happening in my old stomping grounds in the Bay Area. You and I've had an off recording conversation a little bit about it, but I dived into this research to kind of find out because have you ever had a topic that you've heard going around social media and then you want to have an opinion but you don't quite know all the information to
Yes,
be able
and
to
I
form? Yeah.
I appreciate that about you and I is that if we're not informed, we're not about to jump into the conversation like some know-it-alls and don't know shit. We like to take our time, research. So yes, understood.
Good, good. So, because what I want to talk about is one of the hottest topics that's happening in the Bay Area, more the East Bay, right? It is the AI data centers and in Pittsburgh. Would that be progress or problem? And I want to know. So, having come from my native town of Pittsburgh, and I've been removed from it, but still in the Bay Area in a neighboring city with my bestie for about 5 years before I moved to Vegas. I got to be honest with you, I knew nothing about this. Didn't know anything about this until I started to hear a huge uproar about it. And I think the same for you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had no idea that the data center was coming. I just been hearing all this news about it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I just we're just trying to understand both sides because I watched clips of a very heated city meeting with the residents and then the mayor and the vice mayor and the council members there. And I want to also be very transparent that Mayor Dion Adams is a close friend of mine. However, I still didn't know anything about it because I'm removed. I live in Vegas. I've been living in Vegas for 5 years now, going on 5 years.
And you guys are
And
friends. You're not talking
almost 6 years.
politics. You're not talking
Yeah,
work.
exactly. So I did not know anything of this, and I didn't even know how long this has been going on. And at that time, I was in the Bay Area when this was actually being discussed. You
Yeah.
as well, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you know that this started in 2017?
That was 2024. I didn't realize it went back to 17. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Now let me just make sure I said 17 or 2018. I saw 2017, but I think it was right at the very end of it. So it's really 2018 is where a lot of the things happen. So again, guys, we're not here to make a opinion on it. We're just trying to educate ourselves. And hopefully through
Mhm.
us having this discussion, we're helping you educate yourself as well. And if you are actually currently affected by this topic, it might help you either understand more of what's going on or help you to fight against it. Not sure.
Mhm.
Just to start as well, I can tell you why people are upset. Okay. And I'll tell you a couple of things. And I also have found and researched the actual locations of where cities and states of where AI data centers are and what's happening with them, which helps me kind of form more information on if it's something that I would be pro or against, right?
All right. So let's start, Jay, with giving the people a little background first on what exactly a data center is, right?
Yes.
So basically, a data center is a physical building that centralizes an organization's IT operations. So it houses like network computers, servers, data storage, all those things that you need to run a computer or several computers are stored together in this one big building. They're responsible for keeping like digital information. So anything that like is uploaded to the cloud, that would be part of a data center would have a process in that. So essentially they're really the backbone of the internet.
Okay. Okay.
And they're needed even more so with artificial intelligence. When I was a little girl, my mother worked for Pacific Bell, and I remember going into her office, and there, I guess that would be the modern day data center at that time. I'd walk into this room, and it was just like as many of those tall reel to reel machines
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as far as the eye can see, and
Damn,
that
you're
was their
old.
data center. I know, right? Reel to reel. Right. So, in order to have like a data center, there has to be some sort of like storage there, right? So, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
have hard drives and flash storage and the storage infrastructure, that type of stuff goes there. And it says for the requirements to have an actual data center, you're going to have a power supply. So, you're going to have to use massive amounts of electricity in
Mm-hmm.
order to keep the servers running. You're also going to need to have a cooling system. That means you're going to have tens and thousands of servers to generate immense heat that require robust, well, I'm sorry, the tens of thousands of servers are going to generate heat, and that's going to require a robust air conditioning and water cooling system to prevent the generators from overheating. I'm sorry, to prevent the servers from overheating.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, you're going to have security. So you're going to need to have high levels of physical and network security. And they're going to be used to protect critical corporate and personal assets that are going to be in this data information storage that we keep.
I'm glad that you brought those up just to kind of let people know we're really looking into this, finding out what is the pros and basically the cons of a data center and having it physically in your area, right?
Hmm.
I noticed that we obviously we like Chat GPT, we like our cloud services. Everything we do runs on some type of AI. And
Hmm.
so we love it. Back in the days
Yeah.
when they were discussing this, again, back I'm gonna quote about around let's just say 2000, early 2018. In 2018, they we didn't have all this. We
Right.
didn't have that
Right.
much AI and all that consumption. We didn't know how quickly we were going to move into technology and rely on it as heavily as we do today. I mean, from the time I wake up to the time I'm down, I'm on my phone, I'm on my computer, I'm doing something. I'm always getting data, I'm downloading data in my brain, I'm finding stuff, I'm entertaining myself. Something is always AI driven, right?
Well,
And everybody loves it, but nobody wants it where they're at. It's kind of like everybody want to, but nobody want to. You know what I'm
I'll say
saying?
I would also challenge to think that data centers have been around for a long time, but they just have kind of evolved with our technology. Like when I was saying back when I would go to my mom's job back in the 80s, that was their data center, the reel to reels, right? So
Right,
it
right.
didn't, and even though I remember it being a really cold building in there, they also had to keep everything cold in there. I still don't think that it took up as much of the electricity that it needs to use today. The way that it's
Absolutely.
evolved is what's making it take so much more electricity.
Yes. And that is one of the biggest concern is electricity. It says AI data centers consume enormous amounts of electricity. And so the residents worry, will electricity prices increase?
Yeah, they will,
Can the
absolutely.
existing grid handle it? Right?
Well, our normal grids that we're using right now, the same grids the same infrastructure that's been around since the 60s and 70s.
Hmm.
We can't handle this now with this explosion of AI
Right.
and
Okay. Yes.
cloud computing
Hmm.
and cloud drives and shit like that. That's why we are building data centers because it can't handle it anymore.
Yeah. One other question about that is, will California have enough power during the heat waves? We
Mm.
already struggle with water consumption, right?
And and massive water consumption is another concern, which I didn't understand at the
It
time.
is. It's number two. It is. It says traditional data centers often require significant cooling. People worry about drinking water, droughts, long term sustainability. And so, for the Pittsburgh project specifically, the developer says the campus will use recycled wastewater supplied by Delta
Okay.
Diablo rather than the drinking water. And the city says environmental mitigation measures were included during the project approval.
Do they give any more details about the water mitigation?
Looking at this high level. We would have to probably make this into a series so we can really get into some stuff. But right now, it just, I do have a source, which is avdigital.com. This is the one where we received that information. But that it doesn't eliminate any concern, though. So, regardless of what they say, it's still an important fact that this audience is trying to figure out, is this really going to happen? Or are we just being told that, right? So,
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to know if we're just being told that, but I'm also concerned about, and I guess this is kind of going off on a whole different tangent that I don't need to go off on, but I'm wondering prior to this data center coming into play that they're going to use wastewater, what was happening to the wastewater before? Where did our wastewater go prior to this?
being wasted,
I mean,
just
seriously,
wasted.
like, is it treated and then, like, where's it go? How can we use
Well,
wastewater now?
I think we are using we're if it's recycled waste, oh my gosh, recycled wastewater. Say that 4 times fast. If it is, I believe they should be using that to water our greenery, right? Our landscapes, the ones
Okay,
that are created
so
by the city. I
so
would
if they're taking
assume.
it well, if they're taking it from that, then what happens to that? It's just it's that's where I'm going with this is like, okay, if we're taking from one, what happens to what we're taking from?
Exactly, exactly.
But go
Something
ahead.
always has to suffer, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is this number 3, noise. People
Noise.
Most people imagine it's just a big computer, but the
Mhm.
noise, because it says it's giant cooling fans, large HVAC systems, transformers, backup generators. Those can create a continuous low frequency noise that is not well, if not well designed. So I'm going to also go through a couple of cities that have experienced not so desirable effects. I'm not going to do a whole Aaron Brockovich thing, but it's basically bordering the line of that, right? This is the reason why
Oh,
we're fighting that, right? So air pollution, okay? Normal operations don't produce much direct air pollution, but the concern is usually about backup diesel generators. So if something goes down, they're going to be running those. How are you running those? Diesel. Diesel is going to create pollution, right? So we're
interesting.
trying to look at the future. It's like, oh, everything's, oh, yeah, it's fine and great when we start. Okay, what about 10 years down the line when you got to you got to break down CERN? You know what I'm saying? Do some shit.
Oh
Things
gosh.
are going to happen. I know that'll be a whole other topic, and that will be quite concerning. Yeah,
I see what you did there.
I know, I know. Now, traffic is another concern because when construction begins, that will be what is that, leverage?
Yeah,
Or is it
leverage.
leverage is most likely going to be shut down, right? Full with trucks, heavy equipment, road closures. After construction, the traffic will be much lighter. But this is going to be a 4-year plan, if that, 4 or 5?
Oh, so it'll take it that long for it to be built?
I believe so. I'll double check just to make sure. It's not like a KB home you slap up and 2 weeks later you got a fucking house. So
Great. That gives me plenty of time to get the fuck out of here.
and jobs, okay? Jobs as well. People hear $2 billion project. Well, and they think that thousands of jobs forever. But in reality, these are temporary jobs, only for the life of the construction. Then where are you gonna get
Yeah. So I'd heard, I don't know how true it is, but I heard the data centers don't have a lot of
employees?
yeah, that everything is kind of self-ran other than, I
It's an
mean,
AI center. It's
yeah, it's
AI.
an AI center. Other than, I guess, physically having security guards to physically be on site for security. And, I don't even know what other, I'm like janitors, but I don't know. I
Hey,
don't
what else?
know what kind
Maybe
of,
waterers, professional waterers of the system. What are you gonna do? It's only groundskeep and security is all you need. And well, obviously, somebody who knows what's going on in the system. They can't just have people who are just laymen. They got to have people who understand, built it, and are running it, right, or managing it. It is not going to be in any comparison to the mass amount of jobs it will create temporarily, which is
mm,
great. But then then what do you do then? I guess you just move on to your next project.
yeah.
So the another concern they have is property value. And
Mhm.
nobody truly knows. So some studies suggest little effect. Others show nearby homes are worried about the appearance, the noise, and the industrialization of their area. Remember, it's taking over the golf course. And
Yeah.
the
And
golf
I
course was a
heard,
beautiful,
yeah,
serene, quiet area. And
yeah.
now you're going to slap an entire data center with all that big machinery right there. The eyesore, first off, is probably going to
And
have a
I
bunch of
heard,
security gates and shit.
yeah, I heard it's a big concrete windowless building. Yeah. Much like the little data servers, much like the buildings
Right.
that the data servers were in back in the 80s when I would go with my mom, much like that.
You know
Yeah.
what? What I would think would be very useful is to repurpose the underground bunkers over Concord Hill. I don't know if they're still storing military stuff there, which I don't believe so. Why not use that? It's already underground. How cool! And it's cool, but how cool is that to have it cooler down there because now you're actually underground
I don't know
versus
how would that work with signal and stuff like that? Would it be able to pick that stuff up underground?
I would assume so.
I mean, how though? How would it get signal underground when antennas for storage and sale and all that type of stuff is all above ground, up high? What is this?
Well, all the HVAC, all the generators, all that stuff, and the actual servers housed down there. The generating, the windmills and the antennas or whatever we're saying is it's above ground, but everything else is housed down underground. But right now,
Okay.
everything is above ground. Everything, right?
Okay.
So that's
Well,
what
I
I'm
know
just
that
saying.
there's some issues with that land that the Concord. Well, I know there's some issues with the land with the Concord Naval with Weapon Station because they have been talking about trying to turn that place into like luxury condos and all type of stuff for
Hmm.
years, and they can never get the ground
The
uh,
soil,
right, fertile. I don't know
yeah.
what you want to call it.
Hmm.
They couldn't, yeah, they couldn't get the soil to be used so that you could do that, and they've been trying to do
Right.
that for a minute now.
Oh wow.
So that
Okay.
might be an
Well,
issue there.
yeah, that makes sense. Because again, for a city, and I can see the reason why they want it because they see taxes, they see
Mhm,
money for the
mhm,
city.
right.
But the residents, from a different perspective, is what about us though? Where we have generations upon generations that live in, in these towns, and it's slowly turning into something that they can't even recognize anymore because the city of Pittsburgh is a town. It's not a industrial place like Concord or something like that. So
And, I mean, that's just like that's just like Antioch. Antioch has been zoned now for all these dispensaries, and it's becoming
right.
a different place. Not because I'm saying, dispensaries are bad or weed is bad. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that when you get a certain level of industry and you get a bunch of it, it's not just like one dispensary. It's not just one
Right.
data center. The next thing you
Yeah.
know, they see a data center going there and it's thriving. So then they send other, what's the word I'm looking for? Industrial type of
Yeah.
positions there as well.
Hmm.
And then next thing you know, your city that was once your town is now producing all type of
It's now a
fossil
mini.
fuels and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If it was a little mini Silicon Valley, then that would make prices go up in terms of housing values and things like that. So I don't think that's probably a good comparison.
No, I'm saying that's what the city is coining it as, something like that. Someone
Well, of
from the
course, the
city coined it.
city, yeah, of course they're
Yeah.
doing that because they want to put their spin on
Yeah.
it.
Right. But the residents are like, that's not what we bought in this town for. It sucks either way, but there are benefits. So as I said, so down that vein, I said supporters point to tax revenue and construction jobs. As temporary as they are, they're still jobs.
Yeah,
High tech investment, better fiber infrastructure. You are definitely. Can you hear me now? Yes, I can because you're right next
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Economic development. So the Pittsburgh project was unanimously approved in 2024 after the city completed its environmental review, and the officials have continued to defend the project while increasing public outreach as the awareness has grown. Now, here's where the problem is. They're upset about those 8 topics that I said, but mainly what they're also upset is that they felt that they were not made aware of this.
Mm.
Granted, again, this started way back in 2018. But again, to be honest, and to be transparent, I knew nothing about it. I mean, granted, I moved out of that city, but I'm in a neighboring city, and all the ways that this conversation is. When I tell you, I should have known about it, especially when they came back with the receipts of how they did inform the city.
Well, I was going to say, let me ask this because I know that for everything that gets on the agenda, right, it's
Hmm.
made public. And
Right.
these meetings and hearings are always public. They're never cloak and dagger. I will see on the city council. In fact, I even had a friend. They used to be like, "I'm going to city council meeting tonight." We live in we don't live in Pittsburgh, but she'd be like, I'm going to city council meeting tonight because they're going to vote on such and such." I'd be like, "I don't give a shit about that city council meeting. I'm not going to that." You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
And so it's all made public, and I guess people probably saw it and did the same exact thing. But now here's where it's unfair because of your lack of awareness. Now you want to get mad and act like they try to pull a fast one over on you when this is why we should be listening to our city council, seeing what's on our agenda and going to the meetings because this type of shit could happen all day, every day.
Yes, let me tell you this. Another thing I discovered. One longtime resident quoted that in the news covers that he had known about the project since 2018 and attended the meetings for years. He argued that there wasn't enough resident participation. And not that the meetings never happened. He just was like, there wasn't enough representation from our people to be against it, right? Because it was more just the council going, okay, anybody? No? Okay, all right, let's vote for it then. All right,
It's
everybody say
just,
aye.
I mean, it's the same thing we've been hearing since we were old enough to vote. If you don't vote, they're going to vote for you.
And your vote matters. Every vote counts. But to be fair, there the city of Pittsburgh was not provided an opportunity to vote for it. It was done legally, but it was just that the main concern was they were not informed, but they were. So it seems underhanded to go, oh, you're just going to do this right under our nose. Technically, they didn't, but I don't know if they banked on this people to know because after years and years of non participation, they probably said, oh, we can slip this into the agenda and nobody going to know, right?
So I think that's where it would go towards, it might be an unpopular opinion about this, but I feel like, you know, that is not at fault of the city of Pittsburgh. They did their job to informed. It is the fault. And I don't want to say it's the fault of the residents because it's not the
Right,
fault of the residents
right,
either.
right.
But me included in this,
Me
it
too.
is up to me, us included, to be informed on what is happening in our towns and local
Mhm. Mhm.
neighborhoods because of shit like this. So I feel like there needed to be some sort of person on council, on city council, that was opposing it to be like, hey, I'm going to spend my campaign dollars and send out a special notice via postcard to every resident in Pittsburgh, letting them know that this special election is taking, or not special election, but that this agenda is being brought to city council. So you guys get out and go and make sure you're informed. Now,
You know what
if
a step above that would be? A step is have a liaison to make sure that your community is involved, because it is also the responsibility of the city to know that their community is involved, right?
here's the thing though, but at what point what point do you say, I have made these things available for you? If you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. At one point, do you say, I've made these things available for you? I've been transparent. I've showed you everything that's coming to the council. I've given you a month in advance notice or however notice that they give you, and you still decided not to come. So at what point now I got to send out special postcards? I got to get a liaison. I got to do all this shit to get you informed. See,
You
at
know
some
why?
point, I'm like,
Because
we got to start taking responsibility for our shit.
you know why? Because whenever whatever decision is made, someone's never going to be happy, right? We're always
True
it's
that.
like it's always someone that are going to be happy. But let me tell you all the ways that they did try to inform us. Okay,
Yes, please.
so they published a legal notice of public hearing in the East County Times. They
Which I didn't even know the East County Times was still going, but
still
okay.
exist. I'm telling you, they posted the notice at City Hall.
Okay.
They posted it at the city's public notices webpage. They
Mm.
mailed notices to property owners within 500 feet of the project area.
Wow.
They sent notices to local agencies whose services could be affected. They sent notices to anyone who had previously requested such notices.
Wow.
Posted the hearing on Nextdoor. That's the part. I said, now Nextdoor, I should have known because everybody always on Nextdoor talking about some
Yeah.
shit. You know?
Yeah.
And then sent the next, then they took a step further and sent the Nextdoor notice directly to subscribed users in neighborhoods adjacent to the project site.
Jay,
Yeah.
now listen, at some point, Pittsburgh residents, come on. What the
Girl, you
fuck?
stepping on Hoka territory. You about to get Hoka'd up.
And
Calm it.
listen, you already know I'm 10 toes down. They can't scare me. But at some point, God damn it, when do you take responsibility and say, okay, maybe I should have did my part. And now for the folks, now let me say this too. For the listeners that got those notices, that saw those notices back in 2018, and you've been rallying ever since, good for you. Good on you for getting up and doing something about it. But for the folks that had all these possibilities and did nothing, and now they want to be in an uproar because they saw a Instagram post, shame on you. I don't want to hear that shit.
Okay, this is true. This is true. So before 2024, because remember you said you only heard of it in 2004. The city also says that the
No,
public
no, I just heard
process.
of it. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, yeah, you heard of it and thought that it was started in 2024, right?
It went back to
Yeah.
24, yeah.
Okay. So it says the public process stretched back to 2018. It also included community meetings, environmental review scoping, public comment opportunities, planning commission hearings, city council hearings. Because remember, it took almost 8 years. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, almost 9 years, right?
Well, I wonder too, though, but remember, we did have a pandemic in the middle of that. So I
We
wonder
did.
if their focus began to shift
Hmm.
because people are losing loved ones and fighting a global pandemic. They're like, I don't give a fuck what's going on in the city. Nothing could be as bad as me having to stay 24 hours in my house and worry about my children. And you know what I mean? So maybe
Hey, was
I,
ChatGPT back in 2020? I don't even remember it being that.
No, 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 it wasn't. But I'm sure that they knew that technology was coming, and regardless, like I was saying, we knew that we needed new infrastructure from back from the 70s. We knew that we needed this new infrastructure, right? Just with the advent of social media, with the advent of cloud, storing stuff in the cloud, all of that type of stuff changed everything. And so, and then the explosion of AI just probably made it that much more urgent. But I'm wondering, so part of me starting to wonder now, maybe if they didn't have a pandemic, would they have had a bigger turnout maybe?
Could
Also,
have been. I made that comment about they're most likely could say we could put this out as many times. No one's going to attend based upon the history of the attendance of any other city council meeting. You know what I mean? So,
that's what I'm
I
wondering.
would like to see what the attendance rate was. Right? Did
Yeah.
it change after the pandemic? And it quite might have done so. We've had plenty of residents move in and out of them. Newer residents may not even be aware of how the process works. Right?
And,
So
and during COVID, these meetings, were they being held online or were they still being held in person?
it did skip. Well, you know what? It did skip a couple years. because I think it was on hold probably because of COVID. So, because it started 17, 18, then it kind of went into jumped into 23, 24, 26, like that. So,
Uh,
I think the whole
okay.
process, that's the reason why it drawn on so long. So, but people did actually attend. So the records show that residents and organizations did participate before 2026. A higher number of it? No, probably not. Just as what was stated from that gentleman, he said, "I've gone to all of them, and there was not a lot of people there." So,
Mm.
right. So, but it says several possible explanations of more than one could be true of why so many people are still saying they never knew. They said this is a possibility. Okay, just don't shoot me. I'm just saying. Publishing in a newspaper, posting at City Hall, or mailing nearby property owners satisfies legal requirements, but many people don't regularly check those sources. So they're kind of still saying those are things that we normally don't check. Have we ever been just because we're an adult, we should know to do so, or have we ever been encouraged to these sites? Are there things that publicize and say, go to your site if you want to speak? Get your ever heard. Here's the websites. I've never seen commercials like that. I don't really watch TV in that sense, but maybe there's there. Did have they put things out to make sure, hey, if you didn't know about this website on the, call 877 call now. We do all that. I remember those.
True, true. And
Maybe
I remember like on public access TV. Remember they used
yeah,
to have these type of meetings and stuff like that. They
yeah,
don't have public access TV
yeah.
anymore.
Like the Rock the Vote commercials and stuff. Like get people involved and know. Oh, I didn't even know that was there. Oh shit, yeah, I
Okay,
go down there.
okay. And I agree with that. I agree. They may not know that it's there. Okay. But what about the folks that were getting within the 500-yard radius that were getting actual mailers in the mail? Are we not
Now
getting our
that,
mail?
right
What
now
about
that,
posting on yeah, you talk about legal requirements, but also posting on Nextdoor. No, there's no legality about you have to post shit on Nextdoor. And people
right.
love Nextdoor.
The Karens are on next door all day. That's why I
It's
said if
Karen Rich.
if it was in a next door, then I would have known about it. That's what I'm thinking, right? But I was out of town at that time. I'm no longer. I'm connected to this next door in this area, so I don't get that
Yeah,
news. So it could have been, but I don't know. So but then they said, remember, in addition to the next door, they forwarded it to the people adjacent to those people on the next door. Because you
right.
could choose neighborhoods, and they chose those and put those out too. But again, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I don't catch everything on Nextdoor. I do whenever I go on there, see a bunch of shit I don't want to see. I hear that all the time, but I know I have not heard hide nor hair about any AI.
Also, if they're using words like data center, I think a lot of people didn't even know what a data center was until just
It's
recently.
just you are on my page, girl. That's what I was gonna say. Because the project evolved over time. Remember, it was started in 2018. We're in 2026 now.
In
And it says
2018, no one had heard the word data center before. They didn't know
and
what that meant.
and it wasn't at the time. It said residents who heard about a technology park years ago
That's
may not have
different.
realized that it would eventually include a very large AI focused data center. A
See, now
technology
that's
park
that
to me,
trickery.
see,
Yes, go ahead. What is it? Go
the
ahead. What is it?
technology park to me says Silicon Valley people are there physically
Absolutely.
working and they're designers, there's developers, there's
100%.
IT. Now that to me seems like it's completely changed into something different. Like now nobody's going to be there. Well, of course, everybody would vote for someone going, oh, these are really jobs, right? And now
Yeah.
all of a sudden, oh, well, if you want to be security, sure. There's not going to be any other jobs like that for you there.
Yeah.
So
See, that's that trickery. I was thinking too. I was like, when you say technology center, I'm thinking we're getting a Google. Oh, yes. I love it. Like, let's do it.
man, I've been trying to
You know
get.
what I mean?
We've been trying to have babies and have our babies over there and just be playing ping pong and just riding around on segways and just having a hell of a fucking good time.
Oh my gosh. Have you like that campus in
Yes,
Cupertino? My girlfriend lives in Cupertino and she took us to all these cool little restaurants around there. And there's a big giant apple and we could sit in the apple. I mean, it was wonderful. So that
that's
type
so
of
cool.
shit. Yeah. When I
Yes,
hear technology center, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm like, yes, bring it on. Pittsburgh deserves
not
that.
a big concrete windowless building that's humming and making sounds and giving you fucking migraines and
And
nose
using all
bleeding
our
for some
water.
reason. Yeah. So we said this before. AI wasn't a household topic in 2018. So back then, people weren't thinking about ChatGPT, massive
Mm-hmm.
AI computings, or
Mm-hmm.
power demands, or modern. You're thinking real to real, like your mom's back in the day, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Right. So by 2026, public awareness and concern has now grown dramatically because now we're learning. We're just learning chat and grok and all these things. We're learning that now. And so as we're learning it, we're learning the good and the bad and what the effects are on it. And now we're like, wait, is it really that good? We had a topic up the dangers of AI,
Yeah.
yeah. Now I can see the concern different. And again, I'm looking from outside in now because I don't even live there. But
Mhm,
I
mhm.
think my views would be quite stronger if I actually was living there. But anyways, many people simply weren't paying attention. That's just the last reason. They said local land use meetings often have low attendance. See,
Right.
unless a project directly affects someone's neighborhood or becomes controversial. Well, it did, and 500 people plus the adjacent and the businesses that could be affected were made aware.
Mhm, mhm. Right,
So,
right,
but again, I says everybody want to be, but don't nobody want to be right.
right.
They say, "Oh,
100%.
yeah. Oh, I love it. Go ahead. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's going to affect me? Oh, fuck that. So there's about one, two, three, four, five, about five cities with data centers. One being in Ashburn, Virginia. And the pros are massive tax revenue, just like they said, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Technology investment and employment. That's what their pros are. The cons are noise complaints, land use conflicts, and electrical demand.
Because
Phoenix, Arizona, I did not know. It's
so
hella hot over there. They was using hella water.
they have to be use hella water. Well, here's my thing too. I'm like, and this is the thing. I like you said, we didn't you and I have talked about this. I didn't feel like I had enough information to chime in because I didn't really understand what a data center would use and why it would like poison the town and why people were so upset about it. I really honestly thought, oh, it'll bring jobs and what's going on. But there's still a part of me that still feels like the city council for Pittsburgh, they're required to live in Pittsburgh. So they are
Mhm.
going to live in this actual city that they voted to bring this to, which I'm
So, but my
assuming,
question is, do they live in that area though? Because again,
well,
remember, if you're in San Marcos, you're not affected at all.
well, maybe not. Maybe not. You have to live in to be on the Pittsburgh City Council, and I looked it up. You have to reside in the city of Pittsburgh. So maybe they're 500 miles, or what is it? 500, not miles, 500 square feet radius from it. But even so, this is their town. This is their community. So their children, their family members, their mothers, their fathers, their husbands, their cousins,
Mhm.
their whoever, you are communing with someone in the city that may be affected by this.
Mhm.
And I think personally, for people that run for civil servant, like public office type of things, myself included, because I feel like you're running for these type of offices because they're not getting paid a lot. You're running for these offices because you care about your community, you care about the constituents, you want to do better for your town. This is why I have thought about running for some sort of city council because I wanted to do better for my town. The point I'm making is that it's hard for me to believe that these council members that have far more information than we have on the actual real details of what harm it can do, if any, would still vote to have something like that in their town when they have to share this town with their mother and their sister and their brother and their children and their husbands and their families and their teachers and their pastors and their, you know what I mean? It's a whole
Mhm.
community of people. And I
Mhm.
don't know, maybe I'm a bit naive, but I just want to believe that I want to get me out of people and I want to believe that no one would vote in interest to harm their community so that their town could get some extra tax revenue. That seems crazy to me.
Right. I mean, and absolutely, I want to know that too because, of course, I'm from Pittsburgh, and I want to know that everyone has the best intention. Of
Of
course,
course.
I
Of
absolutely,
course.
I believe that too.
So I think
Right.
we need to think around not necessarily thinking about, get rid of the data centers. No, we can't. What we need to do is think of a way that we can safely build data centers. Like, for instance, when you're going out Highway 4 towards the Antioch Bridge and they built that huge, massive Amazon
Yes.
campus out there,
Hmm.
why couldn't the data centers be built something like that, like somewhere out the way? Is it because they need to have the proximity to water? What you know what I mean? Like, why does it have to go smack dab across the street from an elementary school and in a neighborhood? You know what I
Right.
mean? Why
Hmm.
can't it go out along the outskirts where the 500-mile radius is not gonna hurt anyone because there is no one in that 500-mile radius?
But my question is now we're looking at the actual structure of the city of Pittsburgh. Where would that be though? I mean, they have this huge plot of land right now. They would have had a huge plot of land right there, but it still would have been in the residential area, right in the Buchanan area. But then they built what 500 homes there.
So, well, here's the thing. Maybe Pittsburgh isn't the city where it needs to be at. Maybe over there by the Antioch Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Over towards there's that little sandbar that's way like, when you're going over the bridge, you see this little sandbar that's
Mm-hmm.
right off the shore. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, I'm not a seismic person, I don't know about the land, but, couldn't you build it somewhere like that? You know
Well,
what I
the
mean? You
city
have
of
you have access to water, there's no residential people around there.
Well, I think it's because the city of Pittsburgh is viewing it a totally different lens because
Because they're doing it for revenue.
revenue, if they give it to the city of Antioch, then what the hell did that do for us, right?
Well, I
So,
mean, I feel like it needs to be in some rural incorporated, or I'm sorry, unincorporated part of the city where it can do the least amount of damage.
uh-huh,
And right there is not the place it needs to go because there's a school there. There's residential homes there. There's a park that's adjacent to that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff
uh-huh,
going over there on that Leland corridor. If they
uh-huh.
really wanted the city of Pittsburgh up San Marco where they put those new houses, if they even went further up the hill, all the way up there, all the way up
Mhm,
where
mhm,
there's no hills. You know what I mean? I mean, where there's no houses. I don't
mhm.
know. I don't know. I would like to get more information as to how this spot was chosen and why. Do they need to have a proximity to water? Do
Water.
they need to have a proximity to uh open space? Like I want to know why this was chosen because there's always we can't not do it, but let's just find a way where we could do it with the least amount of harm.
Well, if you think about it, the golf course, it is across from the canal, right? Isn't
I
that
don't
a water source?
where's the canal? Oh, the canal. Yes, yes, you're right.
One that you, me, and Hannah almost drove
I
through.
was that's exactly the thought that just popped in my head when you said that. I was like, "Oh yeah, the one we almost ran into." That's right.
Yeah, so good times. Um, but yeah, that like there's their it's already there. It's already it doesn't have to be something. I mean, they're probably gonna have to do something to transfer them one over there, but they already have water able to filter through that area. So
Because from what I read is that they need enough water to power a small town, these big data centers. So I don't think even if it did have that little pond, which they don't, I don't that wouldn't
mhm.
be enough water.
How crazy do we even have, like we said, the infrastructure to do our own city right now? Jeez, we have brownouts, we have rolling blackouts.
I would also like to see that once this money starts being generated for the city of Pittsburgh, what is this money earmarked for? Are we going to see
Mm.
free preschool for children? Free housing for the homeless? What are these tax dollars going to be used for? I don't want another Pittsburgh sign. I don't want that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to see real change. I want to see real change that's going to impact the community as a
Yes.
whole.
I
You know what I
want to
mean?
see continued um rebuilding of old structures and saving historical ones and putting money
No.
into
No, I
okay.
don't care about any of that shit. I want to see community-based type of programs. Let's buy more school buses and give kids free rides to school so we don't have to put our kids on the city bus. Let me see activities for the teens that are after school where they can go to that's free. You know what I mean? That they can use computers, they can use
Mhm.
the internet, they can teach classes to kids on how to use AI and coding and shit like that. Built in a state-of-the-art community center that anyone in the community can use for free. I want to see programs like that made that's going to more enrich the community and better the lives of the people that are going to be living there and that's going to be affected by this.
We should be the top of our game then. Like you said, for our children, like you said, everything that we could benefit from that structure AI wise should
Yeah,
automatically be something that shouldn't have to be paid program, should all be free, all that as
exactly.
well. But also beautifying the city of Pittsburgh because we are still an old town. They're revamping Old Town, and we need to do a little bit up there uptown. We got to do that on the cusp of Antioch and Pittsburgh. We got to do that too. There's some
Yeah.
things that we need to do to beautify it. But I think that if if I'm understanding, that must generate a mass amount of money.
Yeah,
A
it
massive
does.
amount of money. So these little small community programs that we're talking about, nothing. It's pennies on a dollar. What else are we putting it towards? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
In
Right.
addition.
And I
Mhm.
and I agree, but I just want to take care of our community first. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
I
for
want to take
sure.
care of community first and then we can beautify the old, Pittsburgh museum. You know what I mean? And the old
Mhm.
those old
Taxidermy.
where I used to have the photography studio, those old historical buildings down there, then we could
Yes.
do all that. But to begin
Mhm.
with, and when we do it, we want to hire Pittsburgh residents that are going to do that work. You know what I mean? It's just like you have to keep pouring into the community to make the community better. And
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, when I was a kid growing up in Pittsburgh, it's like, I'm getting out of Pittsburgh. Well, now as an adult, it's like I still have this fondness for it because that's what raised me. That's where I came from. And I would love to see it thrive and to be better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for enlightening me. You taught me a couple of things today about the data center that's coming, and I'm going to keep my eyes glued to everything else that's going on in it so I can understand how it's going to affect people that I know and love.
Eyes glued, ears to the pavement because I want to know Again, I have a little bit more interest in it too, is because of my friend is also getting a lot of brunt of that as well. And I wanted to also
Mhm.
say that, yeah, although she was not mayor at that time, she was a council member who did vote for it. But again, it was voted for back in 2018. I think that the project has evolved from there.
And
So
like I said, I don't think that the people that have decided to step into these roles to represent this community is gonna vote against their own interest. Like,
Es
screw that.
especially Dion. If they actually
Mhm.
really know her and her heart, she is one
Mhm.
of the most caring individuals who does love her community, and that's why she has always been there. And I've never heard any complaints about her before until she stepped into that position. It's like any official role. You're gonna have, people as soon as you step in the role automatically hate you, don't even know you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but again, I don't wanna be biased. I just wanna know what's best for my city. So
Absolutely.
we'll keep on looking at that topic. But guys, ponder on that question I said, and if
Ooh,
you guys want
ponder.
to ponder on it, if you guys would like to respond back or have any comments, please make sure to email us at moodswingpodcast.com. Again, that's at moodswingpodcast.com.
RootSwingsPodcast.com.
KMac, oh my God, I'm so glad we're back. I'm so glad we're back. But
The fat boys are back.
I'm sad that we have to end it
And you
though,
know,
because
we can never be back.
wait. Oh, hold on. I spit
Never
on
mind.
myself.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Hi. I love you, Kay.
Love you, Jay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink, clink, clink.